guys, thank you for clicking on the video today. As you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be working on some fitment for the Subaru. Now this isn't the best way to perfect your fitment, but it's a cheap way to do it, and I don't really feel like buying new wheels right now, so we're going to go with the wheel spacer route. So let me show you what I got. So right here I got some, this is the brand OMT wheel spacers. They're 1 inch 5x100 hub centric, so they won't vibrate. They're made out of billet aluminum, and they're, you know, they seem to be pretty nice quality. They got good reviews and all that stuff. So basically the wheel offset that everybody runs when they upgrade wheels on my car, I did the calculations and it pushes the outside of the wheel 1 inch out. So getting a 1 inch spacer will make my OEM wheels fit like aftermarket wheel would in the wheel well. So basically it's going to take up this gap right here. You can see where it's not flush, and I mean, if you just look at it, you can see that the wheel kind of pokes in behind underneath the fender. It's not very aggressive looking, especially on the rear right here. You can see the outside of the fender. I don't really know how well it comes across on camera, what I'm talking about, but you'll definitely see the difference once it's done, especially looking at it from like this angle. You'll be able to see the wheel poke out more. And I know there's a lot of mixed beliefs on wheel spacers. A lot of people say they're dangerous. A lot of people say messes up your handling, stuff like that. Yes, it does change your scrub radius, but it doesn't mean it's making your car handle worse. Sometimes it actually means it's making your car handle better. It'll just handle differently. That's all it means when it changes your scrub radius. It'll handle differently, but that doesn't necessarily mean bad. But your track width is going to be wider, which will increase stability on its own, and less body roll, all that good stuff. So we're going to see how it does with handling and stuff like that after I upgrade it. But in all reality, the wheels that I'm going to get after these ones, they're going to fit the same way. They're just going to have an extra bit of tire there, so they're going to handle pretty much the same as those ones will. And on top of that, 1 inch spacers aren't really that big, so we're not going to run into issues with added wear on the wheel bearings. But this isn't a daily, so I don't really care about that either, even if that is the case. Now, in order to get these wheels to fit correctly, we're going to have to do some trimming on this front fender, and then we have to roll the rear fenders. Now, basically what I got to do first is I got to pull the wheel well out of this side and pull this outer fender flare off, and then I'll show you what I have to trim. But basically I'm cutting metal, a section of metal out, and then we're gonna come in here and trim it like right along here. Here, let's see with the lighting, but trim this lip so that it's flush, and then back here it would be ideally be able to do the same thing that we did on the front and trim it and get that good clearance on the inside. But these are spot welded, so you can't trim this piece of metal because it's holding the two pieces together. So I have to roll this fender with a roller, roll it up, and I can trim this piece a little bit. But from what I've heard with this fitment, it doesn't cause any issues if you just roll it, and then you don't really have to trim this plastic bit. But we'll play it by ear on that side. So I'm just gonna get started on the front right here. Alright, well, a lot of dirt came out from right in there, and you can see, I'm gonna have to get the light, but there's a lot of stuff here that needs to be protected, so I'm gonna have to probably put the wheel well back in, or figure out a way to just protect all these wires and stuff. Alright, so if you look up here, you can see this is a bottom clip and this is a top clip right here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this fender flare off, and I'm going to cut it like right at this line, maybe a little higher, and cut this bottom row clips off so that the only thing holding it is the top row clips. But that's going to give me like a lot more functional space too. Like it's like an extra like 1.5 inches of room for the tire to travel before it hits anything. So yeah, we're just gonna pull this fender out real quick. Alright, so I marked where I'm going to cut it. As you can see, this line. I think I'm going to leave this one just because like where it sits in the wheel well, I don't think it's really going to interfere with the tire cycling. So we're going to trim this row of clips off, and I'm just going to use a Dremel for that. So let's get into it. Alright, so got it cut. Went a little higher right here. But I followed the line pretty much the whole way through, so I just gotta clean this up with like a file, some sandpaper, and then I'm gonna paint the edge so it doesn't rust. Alright, so if you look at the fender, you can see like this is the outside. There's a lip that goes along the whole thing, and basically I'm just gonna cut it so it's flush with this edge, and you can see it's already rubbed in spots from the tire just being in its stock position. So basically from the front here, I'm going to trim it all the way along this edge. So I think right before this pin, I'm going to start to like taper it back before it gets to this part where the mud flap deal is supposed to mount. Alright, so as you can see, hopefully, I trimmed the lip off on most of it. So, and then I also trimmed the pieces where the clips were, so there's no contact there, so we got a lot of extra clearance. So now I can put this back on, and then we can start getting the wheel spacer on there. Okay, so wheel well is in, sort of, as best as it's gonna be. It's not crazy hard mounted in here. There's still some holes that I missed clips for that they're just broken. But now it's ready to put the spacers on and the wheel back on. And usually you'd want to like wire wheel this to make sure it's flat, but these are new rotors, so there's nothing really messed up about them. I'll probably just wipe them down real quick. Then I'm going to put some anti-seize on the face of here, some Loctite on the studs, and then put the spacer on, and then put the wheel back on. All right, so fitment looks pretty good. Doesn't look like it's gonna hit. It might, but you know, we'll figure it out. You probably go a little lower now too, that it's trimmed, but let's see. I'll probably have to take you out during the day to get you a better look, because GoPros don't do very good at night. But that's what it looks like with the spacer, and that's what it looks like without it. So it looks pretty good if you ask me. So I'm gonna knock out the other side and then we'll be back once we're doing the rear. All right, so I am over at Craig's house. We're using the fender roller to try to get the lip on my rear fenders rolled and flattened out. So I got it hooked up on the hub, and we're just gonna get this lip right here to just fold back up. I'm not too worried about the way the paint looks because it's not really the outer surface, so if it gets chipped, it's no big deal. So it's on the lip now, so we're just going to progressively roll it and turn this to get it to press more further in some together now. All right, so if you take a look at it now, you can see it's pretty much flat, except for this corner, which I might cut and then flatten out the rest of the way. But I think that should give me the correct clearance. So let's put the spacer on, put the wheel on, and give it a shot. So I'm putting anti-seize on the backside of the wheel spacer so it doesn't freeze up to the rotor. And then I'm also going to put some red Loctite on the threads of the factory wheel studs so they don't back off, because then my wheel will fall off, and that will not be good. Alright, so this is what it looks like after the wheel spacers are on. I got a little bit more trimming and stuff to do. It's still rubbing in certain spots, but no big deal. A little bit of trimming left to do. Let me get you a better look on the light side. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. I had to come in here and trim up this bit because it was rubbing when I would accelerate, and it's still rubbing a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's self-clearancing at this point. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I like the way it came out. So just gotta let the stuff self-clearance and we should be good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you like the video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.